Now we're going to talk about tilting notes. Tilting of individual notes is referred to as editing micropitches. You can modify pitch modulation like light vibrato, tremolo, or slide by using the straighten pitch slider or by editing the micropitches. Load the project VariAudio 3-1. Double-click on the audio file to open the sample editor. Open the VariAudio tab on the left. The pitch and warp mode should already be selected. If it isn't, click the pitch and warp button to activate it. Notice that the last segment has a lot of pitch variation in it. Select the last segment and move the straighten pitch slider towards the right. This reduces the amount of pitch modulation that the segment contains, basically smoothing it out. Listen back to hear the changes. Feel free to use straighten pitch on all of the segments. It can be very useful to correct minor unwanted pitch variances in your performance. Just remember to listen to what you're working on so you don't overdo it. Now load up the project called VariAudio 3-2. In this example, we're going to change the tuning of the note segments by adjusting its micropitches. Double-click on the audio file to open the sample editor. Open the VariAudio tab on the left. The pitch and warp mode should already be activated. Click in the upper right-hand corner of the segment. The mouse pointer becomes an up-down arrow. Drag downwards to change the micropitch curve. We're going to try to simulate the sound of the saxophone dropping its pitch or sliding downwards. Play back the audio file to hear the changes. You will notice that it doesn't sound very realistic, since a sax player would generally wait until the very end and slide the note down quickly. This is where we can add a tilt anchor and achieve the sound we want. Choose Undo Tilt Micropitches from the Edit menu. Move the cursor to the upper border of the segment. Click to insert a tilt anchor. Click again in the upper right-hand corner of the segment and drag downwards. This time, the tilt anchor is used as an axis around which the micropitch curve can be rotated. We've been using VariAudio with everything but vocals. Let's try it out on some now. Be sure to see the other previous examples on VariAudio before proceeding with this section. Load the project called VariAudio 3-3. Play and listen to the project.
Baby,
Notice how the vocals sound before we start using VariAudio. The tempo should be set at 75 beats per minute, and cycles should be turned on, cycling between bars 1 to 7. Double-click on the vocal audio event to open the sample editor. Open the VariAudio tab on the left and click on Segments. Click while holding down Alt-Option to glue together the first two pitch segments of the first vocal section and the second and third pitch segments of the second vocal section. These pitch segments should actually be together to successfully change their pitch. Keeping certain pitch segments together while changing their pitch helps to maintain proper sound characteristics, resulting in a more natural sound. Just to make sure you've glued the right vocals, load up the project VariAudio 3-4. So now switch to pitch and warp mode. Move the B in baby to the pitch of E3. Also move the Re in ready to the pitch of E3. Now move the end of R and U to E3. Let's listen to what we have so far.
babe, are you ready? to.
Let's do something fun with the vocals by creating a flare upwards. Move the D in Ready up to G3. Do this by selecting the two pitch segments that make up D in Ready.
Ready.
Move them together.
Ready.
Now switch to the Segments mode by pressing Tab and move the cursor to the lower border of the segment. You will notice that the mouse pointer becomes a pair of scissors. Click anywhere but the segments to deselect the three pitch segments. Switch back to Pitch and Warp mode. Now move the last pitch segment up to C4. This creates a very natural flare upwards in the vocals. Play back the audio to hear all the changes.
Ready.
Not bad.
Ready to.
Load the project VariAudio 3-5 to hear the final vocal. Now we're going to pitch quantize the vocals and make some small adjustments. Load up the project VariAudio 3-6. Double-click on the vocal to open the sample editor. Make sure that the Pitch and Warp mode is activated. From the Edit menu, choose Select All, or press Ctrl-Command-A. Move the Pitch Quantize slider up to around 80%. This will move the pitch segments to the nearest note. Listen back to the changes. The Pitch Quantize slider puts everything in tune. Notice that the phrase, "Well, babe," just doesn't sound right? Sometimes being a little out of tune sounds better for certain vocal phrases. Select the three pitch segments that make up the phrase, "Well, babe," and choose Pitch Changes from the Reset menu under the VariAudio tab. This will move these segments back to their original pitch. That sounds better. Load up the project VariAudio 3-7 and take a listen to hear all the final changes made to this vocal.